Several years ago, I came across this blog that really has stuck with me, and I wish I had a good enough memory to tell you who it was or where it is, because it was wonderful. But it was essentially about the grief process. It was called, the title was either The Casserole Dilemma or When the Casseroles Stop Coming. I'll explain it. So if you have experienced a loss in your life of any kind, especially one that's close to you, you will know that there's this period of time where there's a lot of support piled up there at the beginning, right? The lasagnas come, the soup comes, the casseroles come, maybe too many lasagnas, the phone calls, the cards, the flowers, the gifts, the people. Maybe even like if you're really blessed and you got a few real keeners in your life, they'll last like longer than the initial crowd. They'll last maybe even like months into supporting you and just checking in on you. And then there's this moment, though, where the influx of support kind of starts to peter out. It starts to fade. And there's this moment when your public mourning becomes your private grieving. And there's almost this there's this other layer of grief that can come when the isolation kind of creeps in. And it's like, oh, wow, there was a bit of an adrenaline rush there of all the things I had to do and things I needed to take care of and people who were surrounding me. And now it's me, and I'm still here, and the grief is still here. And it's harder, and you think, how am I going to make it the rest of the way through? And this happens with positive things in our lives, too, more joyful experiences, like when you have a baby, and you almost have too much help at the very start, but it's beautiful, and I will never complain about it. Like, you're trying to manage, the amount of visitors that want to come and meet your sweet baby, and there's the gifts, and there's the meals, and there's the offers of, hey, I don't even need to see you. I'll do your laundry. I hope you have people in your life like that. I had a few, and sorry if you didn't, and now I'm bragging. But those people, they're so important, and those moments are so beautiful, but even then, there's this moment where the support kind of dies down and the needs definitely do not. Like, the long haul of parenting is actually like past that point. Yes, you're like, how am I going to keep a human alive? But man, the amount of times I wish I could bring that nurse from the hospital home with me. I'm like, can you please just live with me for a year? You can go home after a year, but I need you at 3 a.m. to rock this baby and remind me that I'm not going to kill it and I'm doing okay. But that doesn't happen. So much excitement, so much help. And then all of a sudden, there's the middle of it all where this honest question comes up. How the heck am I going to do this thing for the long haul? I'm pushed through. I made it through. I'm at the next point, but like, I'm not quite sure I can make it like all the way through this. Because and the psalmist that we're going to read from knows, and everybody knows, that people can't be there every day. Like, people can't keep up the whole time. And it's not because they don't love you. And it's not because they don't want to. There's been people in my own life who have been going through stuff. I'm like, man, I wish I had more to give. And yet I got 3 kids I got to get back to. And I got my own stuff. And people have their own stuff. And it can be hurtful even at times. It's like, where the heck is everybody? And kind of the older I get, and I know you all want to laugh at me because it's like, oh yeah, the older you get, 37. But whatever. I'm learning that people give the best that they can. And people only have what they have. Some people don't give the best they can. That's a whole nother sermon. But generally speaking, people want to help. They want to be there. They want to support. But they just are not meant to. They're not created to be able to walk with you step by step. I look at the moments of the help that we get along the way, because they do come, and aren't they beautiful? And I know you could tell your own stories, and I could tell so many of mine where, oh man, I need someone, I need something, and it comes in. And I think of those moments as like when you're runners. I don't run, so I'm not going to pretend like I do, but other people I hear, when they run long races, every few kilometers or so, of a long race, there's these water stations, these water breaks, right? And I look at those momentary seasons of support in our lives like that, as these water breaks along the way that are like, oh, thank God. Okay, I think I can get a little further. Then another one comes maybe even further down the road than we want, but it is coming. But rarely are we handed a running partner who can start with us and finish with us and go the entire way beside us. But Psalm 121, the psalm that we're going to look at today, it offers us a really, I think, encouraging and comfort assurance that there is one who can match us step for step. There is one who can run alongside beside us and never, ever run out of breath. There is one who has the water with him always, ready to give you even if you can't make it to that next mile marker. There's one who doesn't clock out after the first wave of support dies down. There's one who doesn't forget about your pain. There's one who doesn't sleep. There's one who doesn't step away when everybody else in their humanity does have to go home eventually. This is good news. I know, where's your nodding? Like there's some of you who know what I'm talking about, right? Like you've been there. This psalm introduces us to a God who is not just a helper in moments of crisis. This is the big thing, but who is a keeper for the long haul of your life. That's our takeaway this morning. If you want to write something down, write this down. God is not just a momentary helper. He is your lifelong keeper. He's not just a momentary helper. He doesn't just pop in and pop out. You don't have to only count on him when there's a crisis coming. He is faithful to sustain you, like we were singing about, to lead you all the way home. Let's read Psalm 121 again together. And then I'm just going to pull some thoughts that I felt God gave to me for us this morning. I lift my eyes to the mountain. Honest question here, the psalmist asks. Where does my help come from? And right after, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of the heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Did you notice that there's a recurring word there? There's a recurring phrase. It's the Lord watches. Watches, and he will keep you. That word in the Hebrew is the same word. It's shamar, and translated that means to keep, to guard, to protect, to preserve. This is like a longer keeping than just a momentary help. This psalm isn't about a God who just pops in for emergencies or pops in for a first wave of support. It's about a God who stays alert when you're tired, who stays present when everybody else has gone home. Shamar is this word of deep and loyal commitment. Like, this is who our God is. Our God is capable of doing what no human being can do. Not a spouse, not a partner, not a child, not a best friend, not me, not a counselor, not a doctor, not anybody. Think of the most supportive human being you have in your world. They cannot do for you what God can do for you. Psalm 121:7 is a bit of the tricky one, right? It says this. You're like, is she going to ignore this verse? Because there's no way. It says, the Lord will keep you from all harm. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. It's a fair question to ask. If God promises to keep me from harm, then why have I experienced so much of it? What's the deal? What do you do? How do you wrestle with that when you think God's keeping does not seem to be keeping me too well? I think maybe he took a break and he's off keeping someone else because harm has definitely made its way through. And if you're human, you've had those moments with God where it's like, I'm sorry, huh? Like, how'd this get past you? I thought you were my shade at my right hand. I thought there would be no harm for me by day. And no, it sounds so beautiful, right? No harm by night. What's the deal? Well, I challenge you to think about this. I challenge you to think about what I was talking about earlier, that there's a deeper keeping that God offers us than the one that we want, than the one that would be really nice to have sometimes, than one that doesn't let anything through. There is a more powerful keeping that God does in our lives. The word harm in that verse there is ra in Hebrew. I'm probably pronouncing it terrible, but it's 2 letters, so how could I butcher it? But I probably did. But in verse 7, it's also translated as evil. I will keep you from all harm, but what it's really saying is I will keep you from evil. And the next phrase, he will watch over your life. In many other translations, it's recorded as this: he will preserve your soul. He will watch over your life. We think of something when we hear that. Well, nothing should get by then, God. But when we think about it as he will preserve your soul, that's a different kind of promise, and it's a deeper kind of promise, and it's a promise that is more in line with the whole of the biblical narrative and of Scripture. The psalmist here is celebrating something deeper than physical protection. Psalm 121 is a part of a chunk of the Psalms that is called Songs of Ascents. Psalms 120 to 134 would be grouped in this, and it's believed that this chunk of songs, it's not necessarily written by David, like we were saying at the beginning of the series. Not every psalm was written by David. These songs would have been sung by pilgrims traveling dangerous roads into Jerusalem. The psalmists wouldn't have been naive about hardship. These are not people, I don't think anyone was in that time. These are not individuals who are like, you have not let any harm pass. They're singing about something deeper here. Scripture records plenty of harm in the lives of God's people. Just read. This is when I can let you just flip open and put your finger somewhere, read a little bit. Harm is in there somewhere. He isn't promising immunity from suffering, I don't think. I think the psalmist is declaring God's keeping power through it. I think he's declaring that there's a deeper keeping that he is really confident and really sure of, that no matter what comes along the way of this dangerous road that they're walking down into Jerusalem, that they know ultimately there's a security of their lives that goes deeper and is more secure and is more dependable than necessarily I don't want anything bad to happen to me along the road. Ultimately, I think the psalmist is declaring here that harm will not be his end, and it doesn't have to be ours either. It doesn't have to be ours either. And I know that that's easier said than done to really let that sink in, but we just have to remind ourselves that, remember, I think it was, now I'm testing my own memory, I think it was the first psalm that I went through with you guys. I gave you that reframing thought to say, sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, even if it does. This is back again. This is all throughout the Psalms. It's like, even if it does, even if harm gets through, I really believe, I really trust that my God is keeping me in a bigger way than whatever that harm that gets through can do to me. And you need to ask yourself if you believe that today too, or if you need to be reminded of it, this is your Sunday. I do pray, just before you think, oh, wow, she's all good with whatever harm comes her way. No, thank you. I don't quite like to be uncomfortable. I don't like suffering, and I don't like pain. And so I do pray that God takes all forms of harm away from me. I pray that God takes all harm away from my children. I pray that God keeps all harm from getting through to you and to the community and to our world and to Canada and to everywhere. I'm like, keep it all away. Get the enemy away. Protect us. But my greater prayer than that, so yes, I do pray those things, and sometimes God comes through and he delivers. I'm like, oh, thank goodness that he kept me from that specific thing. But my greater prayer for myself, for my kids, for you, for our nation, for the Christian church around the world is this: greater than the removal of discomfort or a pain-free, no-harm life is a prayer that even in the heat of the pain that makes it through, that my soul, that your soul, that the soul of the whole Christian church would remain under the shade of Christ, guarded, sustained, and secure. Guarded, sustained, and secure. I believe that the heat of suffering that is let through, there is still the shaded hand of a God keeping you, if you will keep putting your trust in him, that will diminish some of that heat, that will give you water within it, and that will get you through to the next mile marker and the next mile marker and the next mile marker and lead you all the way through so that you can look back and be like, I have no clue how that happened, but he must have been keeping me. He must have been sustaining me. This is the hope of past and present martyrs. They don't just exist in here. Every day, there are martyrs around the world for the cause of Christ, spreading the good news in places where it is not wanted, not accepted, not legal to be spoken. And they are risking lives. They are risking all of their comfort. Some of them move with whole families and children because they are so sold out on the mission that God has called them to, that they have, I think, this mentality. They have to have it on lock, that no matter what comes, I am so committed to this mission of Christ that I believe that he is going to be my shade at my right hand, that whether it's in this life or he brings me on through to the next, that he will be faithful to lead me all the way home as promised. Paul declared in Philippians, to live is Christ and to die is gain. To live is Christ and to die is gain. I'm not living for myself. And when I'm not living for myself, the discomfort that comes, I can look at it a little differently. There's got to be a purpose in this. And I know that really stinks to hear. Sometimes like, oh yeah, how about we don't give me any more purposes then? How about we remove a few of the character building things? I get it. Suffering produces character. None of you want to hear that verse, but it's in there. And if it's in there, we have to take it seriously. There is purpose. You could all tell your stories. Redemptive purposes from pain. Does it mean that it would be nice to have not lived it? For sure. Does it even mean that some of it God never intended for you to experience or live in the first place? 1,000% I believe that. But if it happened, we can't rewind the clock. But can he redeem out of it? Yes. He always does. Always, 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 in just greater ways than you could ever imagine. This is the kind of keeping that Psalm 121 promises. Two things, not elimination of hardship, but preservation from ultimate spiritual ruin. The condition of your soul is so important. When the heat comes through, treat that as the priority. This looks like saying, man, I do not want this. If it can be removed from me, please remove it from me. But if not, if there's some kind of enduring that you're doing here, keep my soul soft, keep my heart soft. I don't want to become hardened. I don't want to become bitter. I want to have my faith roots go deeper, not being pulled up. Like, speak like this to God. Be like, take it, yes. I think we should all pray that. It's okay. Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane said, if there's some other way to bring this about, the reconciling of the world to us, please let it be, because he knew what was ahead. And did it get taken? No. The Son of God himself asked the Father, if there's some other way, can you take it? And there wasn't. And then comes the next part. Okay, well then give me what I need to endure it. Because there must be. If I'm supposed to endure this thing or get through to the other side of it, however long that takes, there must be something that I can't see that you can see, and there must be some wild redemptive purpose out of this that I'm just going to leave in your hands, whether it comes or not, whatever. But just give me what I need. Give me enough shade to get through to the next one. Start praying like that. The second is this. It's not a journey without danger, but it promises a shepherd who goes with you all the way home. We sang about that. Where harm cannot go, by the way. There is a point. And it's just the beautiful hope that we have. There is a point where harm has to stop at the door. Think about like when you're going in for surgery, it's like they can't come with you. That was a weird analogy, but it just popped into my head. There's doors. There's doors at the end of this thing that we're going to go flying through with our shepherd, and harm is going to just hit up against the wall because it's not allowed in. It can't come. Division can't come through. Pain can't come through, suffering can't come through, death can't come through, loss can't through, depression can't come through, anxiety can't come through, addiction can't come through. None of it. None of it can get through. So keep your eyes fixed on our promised future, on our preferred eternal future. Sometimes God's help really does feel like a miracle, and I love those ones. I, myself, love a big dramatic miracle. I will share them from the stage. I will celebrate them all over the place. I will spread the word like, oh my gosh, this person like had this diagnosis and the doctors were like, what the heck? Like, it's gone. Like, give me those miracles all day long. I believe he's doing them. He is doing them. I know you can tell the stories. We ask for them. We believe in a God who can perform these incredibly miraculous things that just makes the whole world stop and go, what just happened? My kids' favorite Christian artist, Forrest Frank. Let's see who's looking at me like they know who I'm talking about. Guys, he's pretty fun. You should Google it. It may not be your taste, but my children love it. I'm just so glad they're listening to Christian music of any form. Okay, he just broke his back, got 2 fractures, and he was just skateboarding with his son out in his walkway, and the camera of his home caught it on tape, him falling. He got 2 serious fractures in his back. The doctors told him that it would take months to recover. The guy from his bed, unable to move, wrote 2 hit singles that charted every genre of music while he had his broken back. So like there's some enduring. But then, story gets better. He's healed 2 weeks in. No fracture shown on any scan. Give me those miracles all day long. I love them. However, sometimes the miracle doesn't feel or look like a dramatic rescue. Sometimes the miracle is in the endurance. Sometimes the miracle is in the endurance. And someone needs to write it down because you haven't had your big dramatic miraculous rescue, and that feels like God is not keeping you. And I need you to be reminded that just because there's not a dramatic rescue does not mean that there isn't a miracle that you are walking and living every single day. Sometimes the miracle is in the strength just to take one more step. Sometimes the miracle keeping of God is that you choose to wake up another day and stay and let him finish the thing, even if you don't want to. Sometimes it's in the quiet peace that doesn't make sense for the circumstance that you're going through. Sometimes it's in the person that God sends at just the right time. Sometimes I look at the miracle of God as those water stations along the way of my life for people to remind me of my calling at the right time, people to speak life into me at the right time, people to speak truth over me in the right time, people to step in and pray for me in the right time. Sometimes the miracle is in the stubborn faith that just refuses to give up. And like I could cry because I just know that there are stories in this room where someone else went through the same thing you did, and the faith was just uprooted right out of them. But you are staying and you are sustaining. And the faith actually, you let it have roots that went deeper rather than being pulled up. There's this weed in the garden outside. Is Anne here? Oh yeah, she knows it. She's like, the weed is getting its moment. There is this weed in our garden at the church. I looked it up last night, Anne, because I was going to try to find a picture of it. Is it Brynwood or something like that? Anyway, I looked it up. I found the term, by the way, and I learned something, so we'll talk about it after. We'll try to give it a go. Anyway, this weed is the most invasive thing you have ever seen. We were calling it like Satan or something, right? Because it just gets in there. Now, for the sake of the analogy I'm using, it's actually, we're going to look at it as a good thing, so just get that analogy out of your head real quick. But at no lack of effort, Anne has tried to rip that stinking thing out of that garden. I've tried. We've all tried. Weekly when the cleaning crew comes in, we like stand there and just look at it. It's like, it's over here now. And it just refuses to quit. I want faith like that stinking, stubborn weed out there, that even when the enemy thinks he got it all, he comes back and it's just invasively spread throughout more than was there before. It pushes back through the dirt. It cannot be killed. It cannot be stopped. If you think it can, on a practical note, come let us know, because we can't get rid of it. But this is the kind of persistent faith that I want. The kind that refuses to quit no matter what tries to uproot it. And I've had my own moments, you guys, where I feel like, oh no, this might be the one. Like, this might be the one that makes me quit on the church, that makes me quit on Christianity, that makes me quit on my calling, that makes me quit on those promises that God gave me once. It's what makes me want to quit on the whole stinking thing, because people can be so messy and life can get so messy. And it feels for a moment like, oh no, I can see it. It's being pulled up. It's being pulled up. It's being pulled up. But when you choose to be like, no, no, I will fix my eyes on God. I will believe that the maker of the heaven and the earth is my lifelong sustaining keeper. I will trust that there are things I cannot see. There are plans that I couldn't even pray for or ask for that are worth seeing through. And all of a sudden, when I do that, when I halt the thought and I say, as it's being pulled up, it's like, no, 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 no. The roots go deeper down and they spread further. And then you know what? When they spread further, you get people talking about it. We're all talking about that stinking weed out there, and now we're all going to be talking about it and looking at it, I'm sorry, Ann, when they go out. And that's what happens in our faith, you guys. When we have like deep roots and we refuse to let them be pulled out by the enemy, it spreads, and people around us start to see, and they say, how on earth did you stay? And you can say, because I have been kept, because I have a keeper. I have one who keeps me, who doesn't slumber, who doesn't sleep, who doesn't quit, who doesn't walk away. And I just know that, yes, trust me, I'm not saying it's not hot out here. It's hot out here. But I believe in the shade that is at my right hand. If God promises me he'll give it, I trust that he will give it to me, and I trust that he will sustain me to the next mile and the next mile and the next mile. The long-haul sustaining power of God throughout a lifetime is a miracle as well. It's a miracle as well. And I think it's a miracle we need to talk about a lot more. I think we need to share our keeping stories of how it felt for a moment there, it was getting pulled up, but then it went down. I think we need to share those more because I think we create a more realistic picture of what it looks like to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. There are seasons, and they can be, I know it's insulting to call it a season because it's been like 4 seasons or 8 seasons or it's been like 10 years. There are really long lengths of time where it feels like you're just carrying a cross. Well, Jesus carried it too, and he did it for you. And there was something about this following of him that he said, pick up your cross and follow me. That doesn't sound like an easy road, and yet that's what we're committing to. We are committing to carrying whatever we need to carry, to have him help us, to have him relieve us from that heaviness at times. Yes, God, take it if you can. Yes, God, I believe you're still performing miracles. Yes, but God, I believe that if it was your son could do it, and look at the reward of that, all of humanity being freed from the guilt of their sin and death conquered, maybe there's some reward if I see it through as well, that I just can't see yet for future generations, for my children, for my grandchildren, for who knows who. It's worth staying. Psalm 121 invites us to lift our eyes up and to remember where our help comes from. Your help comes from the literal maker of the heavens and the earth. Let me remind you, lest we forget, that is who your keeper is. The maker of the heavens and the earth. He is really, really powerful. He is really, really good, and he's got this thing ultimately under control. I think he's keeping you in more ways than you think he is. And so I wanted this morning to be a reminder. I wanted it to be a challenge for you to just kind of slow down for a second and ask, in what ways has he kept me? In what ways is he continuing to keep me? In what ways am I trusting him to continue keeping me? Here are my 2 thoughts, and I'm wrapping it up. Don't worry. Number 1, this is, do it, take it or leave it. It's like anything. If you don't want to do it, many of you won't, fine. Those of you who do, I think it's going to help you, okay? So I'm going to say it anyway. Wake up each day. Do it just for a week. And before your feet hit the ground, declare this: the Lord is my keeper, today, tomorrow, forever. The Lord is my keeper, today, tomorrow, forever. Let's say it out loud together. On 3, 1, 2, 3. The Lord is my keeper, today, tomorrow, forever. Say it out loud like a weirdo when you wake up. Do it. Who cares if your spouse or kid or whoever hears you? You're communicating how you're going to reframe your day, how you're going to go into your day. Let them hear you say, the Lord is my keeper, today, tomorrow, and forever. Whatever comes in this day, I will trust that I am being kept in ways that I may not see yet, but I may have revealed to me someday, that I definitely will have revealed to me in the end. And then the second is this. The Psalms is a lot about reframing things. It's not about denial. It's not about pretending things don't come, but it's about reframing our thinking when the things do come. Reframe the question, why isn't he helping, to where is he helping? It's okay that you ask, why is he helping? What I would say to you, I think there's 2 levels of wherever you may be at today. Some of you may need to say, why aren't you helping? Go ahead, say it. He can handle it. Right after that, you better dang well, though, say, where is he helping? And pause and just think about it for a second. Some of you, you can jump right to level 2. You can just not even ask, where does my help come from? Or why isn't he helping? You just start right away with saying, where is he helping? Where are you keeping me, God? Look for the moments in the day. If we're going to endure this thing for the long haul, and that's what we're being called to do until he comes back or until we go over whatever way, we need to recognize the subtle, the steady, miraculous ways that God is keeping us. We need to recognize the subtle, steady, miraculous, long-haul keeping ways that God is caring for us. As a final encouragement, Psalm 121 isn't here to answer every question about suffering. And I think it's important when we approach certain aspects of the Bible that we don't look for answers that it never intended to give us. The Psalms are not theological essays. They're real-time prayers from real people who are in the middle of a journey. And this particular one, it's a pilgrim song. It's written by someone who's on a hard road, choosing to lift their eyes anyway. It's not a denial of reality. He never would have intended to be solving the problem of suffering. We can tackle that in a whole series another time. It's this declaration instead that evil doesn't win and God's keeping never stops. Evil doesn't win and God's keeping never stops. That rescue doesn't always look the way that we expect. That our faith is built not just on dramatic rescues, but also on the everyday keeping of a God who never leaves. It's got to be built on an everyday keeping kind of God, not just on the moments where we feel like, oh, he took that cup from me. Because sometimes he doesn't take the cup, and we just have to choose that there's a really good reason that it hasn't been taken. Would you stand with me, if you're able to? I just want to offer you a word of benediction, just as a keeping prayer over your lives. I pray it for you every day of the week, but I get to do it now out loud to you. But also a reminder, again, you do not have to have signed up. You do not have to bring anything with you to come hang out with us at Helen's at 3 p.m. Ryan, do you want to put just the address up there again? Just come hang out. We'll bring every chair we own. We'll bring ladder ball and things, and it'll be fun, and just come. If you're like, oh, awkward, I have to talk to people, just come. You can hang out with Bobby with the kids. That's probably what he'll be doing. Anyway, sorry, I just threw you under the bus. Bobby, he's not here. You can't hear it. Okay, so allow me to offer you this benediction. And sometimes I just find it helpful to be in a posture of receiving. You don't have to, but those of you who are like, who are these people who are lifting their hands all the time? This is just positioning God where he deserves to be. It's whether you see us do it in worship, or you see us do it in prayer, or you see us do it during a benediction. It's saying, God, I need what you have. I do not have the sustaining power to do it on my own, and I need you. And so there's just this posture of receiving. So as you go from this place, may you lift your eyes and remember that your help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, not always by way of dramatic rescue, but by the miracle of sustaining you for the long haul. May he watch over your steps. May he watch over your coming and your going now and always. May you know him to be the shade at your right hand. May he keep you behind the scenes in ways that you may never know to thank him for, but that get you through to the next mile, that deepen your faith roots. And may you know deep in your soul that the one who is watching over you never leaves, and he never lets go. Amen? Amen.